Welcome to Moriah FC. It is what it is. I'm gonna make it easy and simple for you how to cut and sew this beautiful jalabiya, this Islam outfit. You can see it has a side panel. This one has a side panel. There's so many different style of cutting a jalabiya, but if you look at this one, we have a side panel at the side. It has a side panel at the side. So I'm going to break it down the simplest and the easiest form, how to cut it and how to sew it, all the tips, all the tricks that are going to help you to achieve the best of it. So I'm going to give you, it's right here in this tutorial. It's Moriah FC. It is what it is. So please, if you are new to the channel, do subscribe, like and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Moriah FC. I post videos every Mondays and Thursdays. So please do well and stick to and click on notification bell so you're never going to miss any of my tutorial. New style, new tutorial every week. So without wasting much time, let's get started. The measurement that I'm using shoulder 16, the length 46, the chest 40, sleeve length 21. So these are the measurement that I'm using. And this, we're going to use the shoulder measurement, not the bust. Don't use the bust. We are using the shoulder. So the shoulder is 16. So you're going to fold your fabric into two, as usual, like the way we cut our senator top. When cutting the senator top, we use the bust, but when we are cutting this type of style, we use your shoulder measurement. That's what we're going to use, not your bust. Don't use your bust, use your shoulder measurement, because this one has a side panel. We're going to fuse a side panel there. We're going to join a side panel, so we use the shoulder instead of the bust. You feeling it? So let's go on. So you divide your shoulder into two, then you add your sewing allowance ½ inch. So you check the length. I'm using length of 46 inches. That will give you 8. Then you add ½ inch or 3/8 or 1 inch to it. But in this case, I'm going to add 1 inch to it. I'm not going to add ½ inch. So the length is 46 plus 1, and that will give me 47. So the shoulder is 16 inches. I'm going to divide the 16 by 2, and that will give me 8 plus 1 inch. That will give me 9 inches. So I fold my fabric into two, and I use the 9 inches. So this time I have 9 inches by 47 inches of length. There's a reason why I added 1 inch instead of ½ inch, because there will be a shoulder slope. So I'll trim some part off. So the back, as usual, the back is longer than the front by 2 inches. Sometimes I make it ½ inch. The back is longer than the front by ½ inch. Sometimes 1 inch, and sometimes the maximum I use is 2 inches when I'm making this jalabiya with a collar. We have the one with the collar, we have the one with the round neck. So all of them have a method of cutting it and how to do it. We have the one that have a V-neck. There are different type with different neck cutting. So I'm going to cut this one the simplest and easier way for you. So the back is longer than the front by 2 inches. So you can see here I have my 18.5 plus some sewing allowance, there. So I'll trim some parts off. Shoulder slope by 1 inch. Let me trim this part off to straight that part. That part is not straight. So my shoulder slope is going to be 1 inch. You can make it 1.5. Then trim it. Because of the slope that I made there, when I fold the back onto the front by ½ inch, at the armhole side, it will go in a little bit. So that's why I'm going to trim that part to make it straight So when you fold, let the back fall ½ inch in front, like the way we are cutting a Senator top. By this one, we are using the shoulder instead of the chest. So I'll trim some parts off. Remember, it's the shoulder divided by 2 plus ½ inch for the sewing allowance. And this kind of jalabia, we only sew ½ inch for the sewing allowance. The sewing allowance is supposed to be ½ inch. When sewing this jalabia, we always leave ½ inch. You can leave more than that, but we always work with ½ inch sewing allowance. So when you're cutting it, you need to be very, very careful cutting it, because when it becomes so small for the person, you can't open inside. But it becomes big, you can still trim inside a little bit for that guy, for that person. I hope you understand. We only add ½ inch for sewing this jalabia, this type of jalabia. We add ½ inch for sewing it. So when you don't measure it well, don't cut it well, and it becomes so small, there will not going to be any place for you to open. To understand? So you have to be very careful. Check on your measurement. Measure the person well. If the person wanted it fitted, you measure it well. But mostly you normally cut it loose, especially when you are cutting it for a kid. When you are cutting it for a kid, you need to measure it for loose cutting. And when you are cutting it for an elderly person, you need to cut it, big, loose cutting. To understand, an elderly person and kid, we always cut it loose cutting, very big for that person. So I'm going to follow the same procedure how to cut the neck. So you can see that I've cut the neck. If you want to learn how to cut a neck, I have a link in the description box below. Follow it, and you're going to learn how to cut a neck. I use the same method in cutting this neck. So I'm going to cut the yoke for the back. The yoke of the back don't actually have a measurement. You can measure like 7 inches or 9 inches. Then you fold like this for the yoke. I'll trim some parts off. Please, if you have new to this channel, do subscribe, like, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Morai FC. I post videos every Mondays and Thursdays. Every Mondays and Thursdays. Do well and check it out. New tutorial, new stars. You know how I do my thing. You know how I do my things. It is what it is. So I'm breaking it down, giving you all the tips, the tricks that you need, and helping you out in achieving the best of the best when making or cutting or doing this jalabia. For any Muslim or even the Christians can wear it. It is what it is. So you can see this is the yoke for the back. So right now, what we're going to do right now is to join them, to sew the yoke, and we join shoulder to shoulder. We have not cut the sleeve yet. We have not cut the side panel yet. Until we cut it, we need to join the shoulders first before we work on the yoke, and join the shoulders before we cut the side panel and also the sleeve. So let me go and join it together. This is very, very simple and easy to join the shoulders. Just follow the same procedure how we join shoulders of the top. This is the yoke. You sew this part, then you join the shoulders together. I have a link in the description box below that teaches how to join shoulders and work on the yoke. I have it. Do well and check it out. I have a tutorial how to join shoulders and the yoke. Do well and check it out. So let me do that and come back, because since that one is very simple and easy. So I've joined the shoulders, I've worked with the yoke. Let me open it for you to see the outcome of it. Please do subscribe, like, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Morai FC. I give new tutorials every Mondays and Thursdays. New teachings, new style. I give you all the tips, the tricks that will help you out. Morai FC, it is what it is. So I have joined the shoulders. I've sewed the yoke together. You can see this is how it's going to look like. We have to join this before we cut the sleeve and we cut the side panel. It's very important. So from here we're going to fold it into two. You can see that we have joined the shoulders and everything. Fold into two. Remember I said we use the shoulder measurement. When I cut in this jalabia, we don't use the chest measurement. We use the shoulder measurement, but the chest measurement is needed. You need to measure that person. So the shoulder divided by 2, 16 divided by 2, that will give you 8 plus ½ inch, so 8.5. I added more than a ½ inch to it. Remember, I added more than a ½ inch. So now that I have to trim, I'm measuring my 8.5 here. When cutting this jalabia, this Islamic wear outfit, we only add ½ inch for sewing allowance. You add ½ inch of sewing allowance. So measuring the person is very, very important. You need to be careful for the measurement, because when it becomes too small for that person, you can't open it because it's ½ inch. You can't open it. But when it becomes big, you can still, fix it or trade that part. It's very important. So measuring that person is very important. You need to be very careful. And one thing also you should know, that when you are doing it for an elderly person don't want it very fitting. Like the way you see on the screen, this guy is very fitted. Elderly person don't want that way. So an elderly person, you cut it loose, and for a kid also you cut it loose, big for that kid. To understand, put that in mind. For an elderly person, you cut it loose, you cut it very big. You measure the measurement, make your measurement become big, and for a kid also you make it become big. So we come to the shoulder. This is the armhole. So you divide the armhole by 2, or use your shoulder measurement 8.5. You use the same thing for the armhole, 8.5. You divide it, so you make a notch over here. Have you seen this notch? Is very important. That is where our side panel gonna start from. There's a way of cutting the shoulder sleeve, and there's a way of joining, there's a way of sewing it. There's some tips and tricks, so many tips and tricks that you should pay attention when cutting it. So we're going to cut the side panel. The side, there's a way of cutting it. Remember, I'm working on a chest measurement of 40. We have chest measurements of 40. To understand, so here is very, very important. Pay attention, please. It's very important, because we are working on the chest measurement of 40. We need to get that chest measurement of 40. So this is the notch that we have over here. That is where our side panel gonna start from. This side panel that you see, the place that that guy has put in his hand there in the pocket, that's the side panel that we're gonna do. So we're gonna start from that part. You measure from that part to the end. So I'm measuring 10 inches. You can measure 10 inches, you can measure 9 inches. But this one I'm measuring 9 inches by the length of the side panel that I measured. So this is the side panel that I'm going to do right now. Please do pay attention. This is where the calculation of the chest measurement is needed to add for the side panel. Remember I said when cutting this one, we only leave a ½ inch for sewing allowance. So if we do it wrong, there's going to be a problem. For an elderly person, you cut it loose. You cut it big, you measure that person big. For a kid, you measure it very big. For a youth, an adolescent who wants it very fitted, you measure that person also very fitted. So I'm going to measure 3 inches. We have 9 inches. So I measure 3 inches over here. This is 3 inches. Pay attention, and the rest is there 6 inches. This is 3 inches. Obviously, I measure from the top to come to the bottom side. I'll start from here. I'll measure 3 inches also from this part. Obviously, the way I'm measuring the 3 inches, so I'm going to fold. This is the 3 inches. I'm going to fold here and also fold here. So we're going to have something like this. You can draw a straight line to join the lines, or you can just fold it this way. Three inches, half inch will gone, so that we're going to get 2 inches. 2 inches from other side, 2 inches for other side. That will make it 4, and we have 16 inches. The shoulder is 16. That will give you 8 plus 8, 16. 2 plus 2, that will give you 20. Yeah. So we have half of your chest measurement. So we're going to cut it through. Like I said, you can just cut a straight line, then you go your way. So obviously in this part, if you didn't see it, please go back and re-watch that part, how I did here. This part is very important. Let me bring it back. Watch it very carefully. You can see this part have a slanted, and this part is straight, and this part also straight. They are straight line. This have a curve. Pay attention to the curve. That's a way of joining it. Do you understand? This part is straight, and this part is also straight. So I'm going to make a straight line over here. A straight line here at the tip of it, a straight line here at the tip of it. That would tell me that that part is straight, so that I will not turn it. Do you understand? I will not change that direction. Sorry for the shaking of the camera. So I just mark that part a straight line, so that that part will tell me that that part is a straight line. To differentiate that line, because I don't want to interchange their position, because each part has its position to play. The straight line has its part to play, and the curvy side also have where to be sewn. So if you don't look at it very carefully, when joining it, it will kind of confuse you, and you're going to change their position. That is why I mark a straight line with a red pen to tell me this part is a straight line.